Happy Mercoledi Moment. Already June the 23rd. In fact, tomorrow is the birthday of St. John the Baptist, the 24th. And then you know what that means. That means Christmas Eve is only 6 months away. Can you imagine? So what we do is we gather here on the 23rd of June, and I'd like to talk a little bit about the reopening that's happening here at the shrine. Because last Sunday, we took the archdiocesan regulations and we implemented them here at the shrine full force, which means that those who have been vaccinated no longer have to wear masks in the church for any services. If those of us who have not yet been vaccinated, we are asking that you wear masks here for the celebrations, and we are using the honor system for that purpose. No one is checking any vaccine IDs, but it's basically the honor system. Then the other thing that we opened up is we opened up the good news that the church no longer needs to do registration. So there'll be no more registration for masses here at the shrine. There will be no more spritzing of hands as people come in, nor will there be any spritzing of hands when people receive Holy Communion. However, what we will do is when you enter, we will have in the holy water fountains, we're having some blessed hand sanitizer there for a while until we will reinstate the holy water in the weeks ahead. So the other good news is that the Archdiocese has invited us to receive Holy Communion, and we can do that now, I believe, in 2 lines. We can do that now in 2 lines rather than just in 1 line. But the communion ministers, or at least the priest who gives the communion, will wear his face mask and his shield in giving Holy Communion. The last regulation that we would like to suggest is that we're going to start taking up the collections again with the baskets. So rather than going out the side aisles, people can go out the church doors how they wish. And so there will be, the regular collections will be taken up. The collectors will take up the collections at the regular time of the Mass. We won't bring up gifts yet. We won't have any gifts coming up yet, but we'll have the collection being taken up. And then the question of the masks. I don't know about you, but I have a lot of beautiful masks. I have masks for every color of the liturgical year, so that during Masses, if you remember, the priests would wear colored masks to coordinate with their vestments. And I know that many of you have cloth masks too. I know I've seen some very beautiful ones during these months. So the question is, what are you going to do with all those masks? And our staff got together, and we thought we would do something like we did after 9/11. After 9/11, we created something called the Chain of Hope Project, where we invited people to bring pieces of clothing that were memory clothings from memories and brought hope, and we linked them all together in a wonderful chain. We actually opened it up to the city. We got I mean, miles of this chain of hope, and then we put it together, and we made that wonderful scene of the Twin Towers that we bring out on 9/11 so that we can remember. It's now been 20 years. This coming September will be 20 years. But we made this wonderful Chain of Hope project, and that wonderful woven piece of all those fabrics of people that we gave as a sign of the hope that we would end violence and war. Well, our staff thought, well, in view of that, why don't we make something like that for the Blessed Mother, whom we have honored and prayed to for protection during these COVID days. So we've asked people to bring a laundered mask. Make sure it's laundered, a laundered cloth mask, and we're going to collect them in the baskets in front of the statue of Mary here on the side of the church. And you can bring more than one if you want. You can bring several if you want, as a tribute, as an act of thanks. because then we're going to sew them all together like a patchwork quilt and make a mantle, like a cape. And we're going to put it on the statue of Mary to thank the Mother of God as a tribute of our gratitude, to thank the Mother of God for this protection that she's given us. And Carl suggested the name the mantle of protection, a mantle of protection, that under Mary's mantle we have been protected, and we continue to ask for protection for ourselves, because it's not over with. I mean, we're at stage 5 here in the state of Illinois, and certainly here at the Shrine of Our Lady of Pompeii, but this thing is mutating and all of that, and we're praying that these vaccines and the booster shots that we have will protect us from whatever happened in the past, that we'd never have to go through that again, at least in the next few years, and that we've learned a lot. And so that we're going to dress Mary with our masks, with a mantle of protection, a mantle of gratitude. And I hope that in the months that happen as we continue these Mercoledi moments, and I have some more time to reflect on, so what have we learned now that we've come to this juncture? What have we learned that now that our masks are off and the restrictions in our church are opened? What have we learned from all of this? And so I'm praying for that wisdom and that insight to understand a little better, because it's still all too fresh in my mind, maybe in yours as well. I don't have enough yet at the distance to step back and say, oh yes, I've learned this, I've learned that. Because I still look into these pews, and I still see the medallions that will stay on there as a reminder. And I still look out and remember the 3 months that we had empty, where we had no people in the church from March to April to May to June, the 3 months where there was no services, the doors were locked. I remember that still, it's still fresh. And I'm asking that as we've come to this mantle of protection moment, that we can indeed learn something. So give me a few more weeks and let me think about this. What have we learned? But the good news is that we're at a transition point. So bring your masks, make sure they're laundered, bring as many as you want, place them here in front, or mail them to us at the Shrine of Our Lady of Pompeii, mail them to us through snail mail, or UPS or FedEx, however you want. And we will include all of these wonderful, colorful masks to thank Mary for her protection during these difficult times that we hope are now all in our past. Happy Mercoledi Moment, and happy 6 months till Christmas Eve.